It is the first Sunday of October. Can you believe that we have been at this for over 6 months? Listen, I can't stop thinking about tri-tip sandwiches, but that's going to have to wait. The Rays sweep the Jays in the first round of the playoffs. The Buccaneers continue their winning ways. Yes. The NFL and the president both have COVID debates, but most importantly, we stayed awake. And your Tampa Bay Lightning are Stanley Cup champs. Thanks for tuning in with the Chief, Pooh Bear. I am B-Love, and this is the Man Event. What in the heck is this? Where is the Chief?
He's right there.
Oh, I'm the Chief's nephew.
My
name is Parker.
I see him right there.
Welcome to the Man Event, Chief's nephew.
What's the problem? You don't see the Chief?
I see the stand-in for the Chief.
That's the Chief.
Yeah.
How much have you had to drink today? Did you?
The Bucs game was great tonight.
Wasn't it? Did you see it on 3 Stories of Glory at the Battery? You didn't go with your parents, did you?
No.
Oh, all right. But it was a fantastic game. What a great comeback. The Bucs were down 21-0 or 21 unanswered points.
21-7.
21 unanswered points to the Chargers right before the half. Get the fumble from the Chargers offense and then immediately score going into the half. And from then, it was history. Tom Brady, you gave QB1, TB12 too much time. He got it done.
Pooh Bear, a year ago, that's a game we lose.
With Jameis Winston, he probably throws that ball away 3 times more than Tom Brady did.
Yeah, that's a game we lose. Absolutely. But I will say that the fumble recovery at the end of the first half, because remember, the Chargers did get the ball back. So whether they at the second half, they got the second half kickoff. So had they scored there, or even if we just got a stop, but it was a big deal for us to get another score on the board before going into halftime there.
Agreed. So Jack, it's Jack, right?
Parker.
I said, Parker. I mean, it's the same thing. Jack, Parker. I can't, tell the one from the other. You enjoyed the Buccaneers victory this afternoon as well.
Yes, Scotty Miller is definitely the MVP.
Scotty Miller, the real MVP. What a great decision you have made. Scotty Miller is my choice for Breakout Player of the Year. He's on my fantasy team, and I believe he racked up a 64-yard touchdown drive, essentially all by himself, catching 2 passes from Tom Brady right after the second half.
Who did you say is Comeback Player of the Year?
I said Breakout Player of the Year, not comeback. Breakout Player of the Year.
Breakout Player of the Year.
Scotty Miller.
Yeah, he had a great game.
You could argue that, whatever. I'm not going to make that argument. Scott Miller absolutely could be the breakout player for the NFL this year.
Well, you said he was the Julian Edelman of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I mean the template, if you will, is put in place. I don't think that Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich are making the same.
We just ran Parker off.
Parker, come back. We don't want the Chief.
Whoa. Wait a minute here.
Go eat your nachos, Chief.
We just saw the younger, skinnier version of the Chief.
I know, man. Look, he had notes prepared, and you guys just ran him over like a train.
Who is this imposter that is taking his place?
That's my nephew, Parker, huge fan of the Man Event. He watches every episode live, and I'm up here in the Atlanta studio, and he says, I just want to get on the show for just a minute. And I said, we can work that in here.
I didn't know he had notes. You didn't tell me he had
notes. Bring him back.
Oh, he's gone now. It's all right.
He went to go eat your nachos.
He probably did go to eat my nachos, man. It's
I'd go eat your nachos if they were nachos here right now.
So, Chief, you had a little bit of a different viewing experience for the Buccaneers game today.
dude. So we went to the Battery. Second time I've been to the Battery, which is at the Atlanta Braves new stadium there at, I think it's called Truist Park now. It used to be SunTrust Park, now Truist Park. And I'm going to tell you what, they built this place right. It is a lot of fun. We were at this place called Live. They have a 30-foot TV screen, which is, we asked them to show the Bucs game on the 30-foot screen, and they showed all the interceptions Tom Brady made on that screen. But they showed the Dallas game.
It was one.
It was just one.
Okay, so they showed that one over and over again.
Yeah, and it was his second touchdown pass of the day. It was his second touchdown.
Yeah, it was his second. He threw 6 today, but he threw 5 to Buccaneers and 1 to the other guys.
Right.
But well, I mean, what a great experience. I mean, around that 30-foot screen, they have other smaller screens, which they're not small, you know, and so we had one of those right in front of us, and we got to watch the game, had a lot of fun with some guys that were there. The overwhelming crowd was there for the Dallas game, and that was a fun game to watch too, by the way. It was fun to watch
because they were losing?
Well, yeah, and, you know, I had Kareem Hunt on my fantasy team. He's on my bench today, but he's on my team. So I was pulling for him. Tom Brady, not on my bench and on my team. So that worked out okay.
You said there was a large contingent of Cleveland Browns fans at the
That's
Battery.
what I found that amazing. You know, in Atlanta, all these Cleveland Browns, I don't know where they came from, but there they were, dog pound south.
Well, Cleveland is one of those cities, and Ohio is one of those states where, you know, they're people that are raised there don't stay there. They come to places like Florida, and I'm assuming Atlanta as well.
Do you know why they don't stay there?
Because it sucks.
Yeah, exactly. It's Ohio.
I've never been, so I can't speak firsthand. But from what I hear, it's
it's cold and dreary.
Cleveland, Cincinnati. Well, obviously, any place compared to Florida is going to be a terrible armpit. But you know, I've heard that, you know, because we have them here. We in our little town in Valrico, they have bars or, you know, watering holes that are dedicated to Cleveland Browns fans, Ohio State fans, Pittsburgh Steelers fans.
Yeah.
You know, we've
most of them are dedicated to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, yes and no. I mean,
you're 3-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Undefeated in October, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
There have been several times that I've gone to an establishment and wanted to watch the hometown team, whether it be the Lightning, the Bulls, the Rays, the Bucks, whatever, what have you, and another team is
dominating,
dominate on the larger screen or on the main screen. And there's the one bar that the Ohio State Buckeye fans tailgate. This is a restaurant or a bar. Okay, let's use the term loosely.
Yeah, come on, you're making us sound like tailgating a restaurant is a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. It's an odd thing. It's something that's not normal. You don't go to pretty much any Chili's and see people with canopies and cornhole being played outside of a Chili's.
Pooh Bear, we went out for the Bucs game. It was a preseason game, but we went out to the Bucs game for a preseason game and got bumped for WWE, if you remember.
I do remember. That was at a wing house.
It was so embarrassing. I said, "What is going on, man?"
Yes, I do.
Now, again, that was preseason, so it, you know, whatever. Yeah. But this was in the heart of Tampa. This was not, you know, on the fringe. This was not Orlando or you know, Bradenton, where you're closer to Miami than you are Tampa. This was the heart of Tampa, and they're playing wrestling instead of the Buccaneers.
Off the top rung.
But this was back when the Buccaneers were terrible. There was definitely no Tom Brady, no QB1, no TB12.
No.
We had that debate today too with our host. Do we refer to him as TB12 or QB1? As Brady newbies, right? Because I don't think any of us were really Brady fans before he was a Buccaneer.
No, I was pretty much a Brady hater before he came here.
Yeah.
Right now he's a dear friend of mine.
Oh, fantastic friend of mine.
The number one resident.
You might get a Christmas card before my parents do. So at this rate.
Oh man.
This guy's chiming in, some stranger here, saying that second half team of the Buccaneers They
were not second half team until today.
Correct.
I was going to say, I'm going to give that to Matty Ho. They have not been a second half team at all in 3 games until today.
Today they
And that's what we were
absolutely
saying. When you were taking a nacho break, was this is a game last year we don't win.
No,
we do not.
No, Jameis did not lead this team back to victory after throwing.
Oh, Jameis would have thrown 6 touchdown passes as well.
He probably would have thrown
But also,
few more pick
I mean,
sixes.
let's
Yeah, that
remember
would have been
in the
to the
fourth
other team
quarter,
and won.
though, near the end of the game, we were only up 7, right?
Mhm.
So they could have tied the ball game and sent us to overtime. We got the defensive stop we needed, which was the interception.
Yes.
And we got the first downs we needed, right? In years past, we would not get those first downs at the end of a fourth quarter, near the end of the fourth quarter, and we would lose a game on a walk-off field goal or
So I'm going to give a shout out to the Bucks defensive coaches to the offensive coaches, because in my criticism of them in week 1 is that they had a game plan, they stuck to it even though it wasn't working. Okay, this week they come in, the Chargers fantastic against the run. We came in, we tried to run, it wasn't working, and they said, okay, if the run's not going to work, we got to go do something different, and they did it. And, it kept the ball moving, it kept the points coming. So I thought that was a great change, from the coaching staff, being willing to say something isn't working, we're going to move on to something else.
I mean, that first series we had that led to the first touchdown was probably the best 8 or 9 plays you could have put together.
Well,
that was better than the first series of the first game.
Yeah, that was a great series, but you saw the Chargers make they were playing Ronald Jones off in that first series, and there were several plays. It was Rojo in the flats, just a quick out to him, and then he was off for 10, 12 yards, and he did that several times. And he didn't have that opportunity the rest of the game. The Chargers said, "Nah, we're not going to allow that to happen anymore."
He dropped 3 of them too.
Oh my gosh!
Well, he's no LaShawn McCoy, who we didn't see much of today.
Well, he was injured.
McCoy got hurt in the first quarter.
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't see that.
I mean, we got a bit of the injury
little screen, not the big screen.
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy went down. Mike Evans fought through some sort of.
Oh my gosh!
OJ Howard,
Mike Evans, they were struggling.
OJ Howard might be out for the season with a ruptured Achilles. He's being evaluated right now.
Also on my fantasy team.
Yeah. So, So the all 4 games so far for the Buccaneers this season, the first drive has been, I think they've scored every drive.
Yeah,
and they have come out with a purpose and they look prepared, which is something we did not see under the previous coaching administrations. They look prepared. They look like they're ready to do what they need to do, but then there's a bit of a fall off towards the end of the second half or the second quarter. And then, of course, into the second half. This game was opposite. They came out looking great. They fell off almost immediately in the first quarter, and then the second quarter. And then the second half, they came out and looked like a completely different team. Yeah. They made the adjustments that need to be made, and were successful. So, kudos to the coaching staff for seeing whatever it is that they needed to see and making those adjustments.
Now, I could be wrong. Mr. Tri-Tip himself.
The Tri-Tip King of
Mr. Tri-Tip himself. Welcome, Javi. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for providing the good eats for the day.
Yeah, the good eats for the day. So I could be wrong, and correct me if I am, but until today, outside of obviously the loss to the Saints, I don't know that we've been behind in a game.
No, they've been behind almost every game.
Have they?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, to the Saints, they definitely lost. They were behind. But you're right. The other games they won, they did not have to come back. Those were.
I don't know that we've been behind in a game, and so
those were protect.
The interesting thing about that is your game plan is much different when you're playing from behind than it is when you're playing ahead. And I hope they took something away, because I feel like what Matty Ho was getting at is we get conservative with a lead. And I felt like we even saw that a little bit at the beginning of the fourth quarter today.
Oh, we definitely did. Yeah,
they went right to the run game, and there was some, at least for the fans' perspective, there was a feeling of, oh, no, here we go again. They're playing soft. And you're right, that with the lead, they've played soft, conservative, whatever the description you want to say, running the ball a lot more. But towards the end of the game today, they definitely had to go on the attack, and it worked.
Listen, Chief, this is important.
I'm ready.
There was a missed field goal today.
Dude, I immediately was looking for someone else that wasn't standing. I was like, I bet Pooh Bear wasn't standing.
Nope.
I was throwing this text out, and I'm sitting at the table, and my sister-in-law sitting there, and I said, you don't understand. We have to stand. It's a thing. Every time there's a kick, we have to stand. I said, I wasn't standing. I was sitting. And I said, I'm not taking the fall for this. But and you notice I didn't fess up to it till after the victory.
Yes.
Dude, if we had lost that game, I would have taken that to my grave. I would have not have.
We were actually somewhat concerned for your health. The fact that you may not be able to stand.
Okay.
So it was a.
We knew it. It just didn't feel right.
No.
Right.
It just
the worst part is I saw that I knew it was a field goal. I saw him setting up and everything. I'm sitting there, and I said I should stand, and I was like, I'm going to sit. He's a new kicker, suck up. He's been pretty reliable. I don't feel like I need to stand, and I was wrong. So I'll be back. It's on me, and I will not sit the rest of the season.
So for those that don't know,
shame.
We do stand before field goals. We used to have to stand before extra points given our.
Dude, we almost had to stand before kickoffs. I mean, they were
bad. So we also stand before big fourth downs, things like that, fourth down stops, fourth down tries, just 2-point conversions, just the odd thing. It's the random superstitious fan things that we do. But speaking of superstition, there was fans back in the stands today.
Yeah.
At least in Tampa, and at least the Raymond James. That was amazing to see.
I think there were like 7,000 fans in there.
There were quite a few. There was one fan in particular I took note of who was in the suite. He was holding this large silver object over his head. His name, we know his name. His name is Steven Stamkos. And he was holding the Stanley Cup inside Raymond James Stadium. Amazing. Way to go, Lightning.
No, way to go, the man event.
Yeah, we did it. We did it.
We did a superstition. We did a solid. What are you doing with?
Well, I realized I didn't have the right microphone with me, and that was the applause. And I tried to get it to the mic.
Wow.
We stayed awake for the victory.
Because if you weren't here previously, we fell asleep on the Saturday night game 5 against the Dallas Stars. It went to overtime, went to double overtime. And it was Saturday night. I fell asleep. I know that. I
fell asleep.
No, we all
fell asleep. So we kind of blamed it on, obviously it was the Lightning players who were tired, but it was more along the lines for us. We fell asleep and were tired. So we vowed on the show last week that we would stay up for the game 6 contest between the Stars and the Lightning, of which the Lightning prevailed, a 2-0 victory to secure the Stanley Cup for the second time for the Tampa Bay Lightning. What an amazing evening. What an amazing week. I mean, I've had a great time watching the boat parade, the Stanley Cup presentation inside Tampa Stadium, with all the restrictions and whatnot for public gatherings. The Lightning were not allowed to have a traditional street parade.
So, just out of curiosity, you do have a job, right?
Me?
Yeah,
I'm gainfully employed, yes, sir.
Yeah. How did you get to partake in all of this?
I didn't. There was the wonder of YouTube and television.
Oh, okay.
I was able to watch it. I did say watch it, right? I didn't say I went.
Yeah, you did say watch it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was able to watch the boat parade. The funny thing is the NHL has taken exception, at least the NHL higher ups are taking exception with the way that the Lightning players have been handling the cup and the way they celebrated. Apparently they weren't happy with the lack of social distancing, the lack of facial coverings for the Tampa residents that were in attendance at the boat parade or the Raymond James Stadium presentation. They didn't really say too much about the fact that people like Alex Killorn were carrying the Stanley Cup on his jet ski.
On a jet ski.
While cruising through the Hillsborough River. That's not really a problem.
That wasn't a problem, no.
Steven Stamkos and Victor Hedman drinking from the cup aboard a 30-foot yellowfin wasn't a problem. But, you didn't have a mask on. That's a problem. So I found that quite comical.
Yeah, it was good. The only thing I really was able to catch in the victory celebration and all of that, I mean, obviously I stayed up to watch, the trophy presentation and everything on Monday night. But when the players landed at the airport on Tuesday, remember they've been in a bubble and away from their families for 2 months.
Right.
That was a pretty cool reunion.
It was fantastic. It reminded me of a lot of the soldier reunions you see. Obviously, we're not equating hockey players to soldiers.
No, not at all.
But the fact that, a lot of times you see a soldier come home from being deployed, and they're maybe meeting the child for the first time, right? That they may have fathered prior to being deployed, and they come home and the child's been born. I know that I think it was Coleman had a child that was young when he left and was able to place that, I think it was a little girl, into the cup, which was,
wow,
awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, totally.
That's pretty cool.
Be into the cup right there in the airport tarmac. I thought that was really awesome. But yeah, just all those little reunions and just the hoisting of the cup every single time. It's just a hard trophy to win. And the fact that these guys, their names will be there for the rest of their lives. Right.
Yeah. I
those
think
rings,
the Stanley Cup. Go ahead, Pooh Bear.
Well, I was just saying those rings, when your name is engraved onto the cup from winning the tournament, it doesn't come off essentially until you're dead. I mean, it comes off at some point when those rings, I think there's 7 rings, as they stack up, it takes like 65 or 70 years before your name, if being engraved at the bottom, makes it to the top, and then that's removed and a new one is added. So, as a 25, 30-year-old person, by the time your name is removed, you're either, you've passed on or it's you've
forgotten that you won the Stanley Cup.
Right.
I think that
I didn't want to put it that way, but yeah.
So I think the Stanley Cup is certainly one of the most difficult trophies to win.
I think it's the hardest to win
in all of professional sports. And I think, other thing too is, like, for an incredibly physical game that hockey is, it's like the longest season in North America.
Oh, yeah.
Sports. I mean, it goes like 10 months it's a long season. So yeah, to play all season, and then they have long playoffs. There's none of this 3-game junk. Nope. It's 7-game series all the way through. It's a difficult trophy to win. Yeah. So I listen.
Have we heard when they're going to start the new season? Because typically the new season would have already have started.
Yeah, the new season is scheduled to start. Like, it would have started like next week or so.
Okay, yeah.
Traditionally,
but they would have training camp and everything else.
We would be in the middle of training camp right now, gearing up for the start of the 2020 season, which would start in mid-October-ish, is normally when it starts. So no, they have not announced when the next NHL season will start. They still need to have the draft. They still need to have.
Oh yeah.
I thought I had seen January, guys. I thought I had.
It very well may. I haven't seen a firm date. They've kicked around a few dates. They were trying to wait until the success of the bubble playoffs was over, which obviously just happened this past Monday. Before they started talking about things like that, they wanted to make sure this got off without a hitch. To me, which makes this all the more difficult for the Lightning to have won under the conditions they wanted. The 60-day, 65-day essentially quarantine in a one area play. They did transfer from Toronto to Edmonton during the conference finals. But being there without your family, not having your normal, let's say if you're someone that likes to go fishing, if you have a bad game and you're traveling the next day, you're going to maybe go fishing to kind of relieve some stress, blow off some steam. Maybe you like archery and you go to an archery range, or maybe you just like to play. I mean, obviously they could probably play video games, things like that. But some of these things, taking a hike wasn't allowed. Going skateboard riding wasn't allowed.
Going to the grocery store.
Well, but you didn't have the need for it. Right. But yeah, if that was part of somebody's normal routine, if you're a defenseman,
you think about that, here's the crazy thing. So I've been working at home for the better part of 6 months, which is not common for me. Normally, I don't work in the same place 2 days in a row. I travel quite a bit. But working from home, there are days that I get in my car and drive to 7-Eleven to get a Coke Zero, even though there is Coke Zero here.
Yeah.
because I have got to get out.
Just to break up the
You
monotony.
know what I'm saying? So, like, for them to be in that bubble, I just think that made it even more difficult, probably, to
And that's what I'm saying.
to win the Stanley Cup.
So if you're a person that normally after even a good game, maybe after your game, your whole routine is to get up and go for a workout, but then you take a 30-minute, 40-minute, hour-long walk through your neighborhood park or something. That wasn't available to you. You could not leave the conference center that they were in. You were not stuck. You were with your teammates, and that was it for 65 days. So if you liked playing ping pong against Bob, great. If you didn't like playing ping pong against Bob, well, that sucks because that's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Well, we have another group entering the bubble. They're already in the bubble now.
The baseball players will be entering into a bubble. Yeah.
Yeah, they start tomorrow. They're already in the bubble. They're already there.
Yeah, I think they left yesterday. Yeah.
And they don't get a break. They're playing their game straight through. If it goes to game 7, they're playing 7 days in a row.
Yep.
So
the Rays start their postseason run tomorrow night.
Well, what do you think about that? We got
Continue
the
the
Rays and the
postseason run.
Yankees.
Listen,
like the Rays
I'm not
champion.
happy. Yeah, I'm not happy with the format of the. I mean, I shouldn't say. I mean, I say I'm not happy with the format of the MLB playoffs, but I should also be grateful that we're actually playing them. But like, we already beat the AL East. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We won the AL East. We have the best record in the American League, and we have to play the Blue Jays and the Yankees in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. I don't know. That seems to me like that's a pretty boring setup.
Well, we beat the
outside of
Yankees, but we beat them without some of their key players. Now we're going to have to do it again, but they're at full strength. So different team.
Yeah, definitely a different team.
Yeah.
I think we won 8. We went 7-3 or 8-2 against the Yankees in the regular season.
I think it was 8-2.
Yeah, but again, they didn't have Giancarlo Stanton. They didn't have Aaron Judge. They were missing that they had have a starting pitcher that I can't remember his name for the life of me, but he was injured when. What was that? The Yankees.
You said the Yankees? Is that
yeah. When we were missing them and when we were playing them, but they also got this other kid, Voit, who all of a sudden
I think he's leading the league in home runs.
Leading the league in home runs. I mean, it's bad enough you got to face Stanton, and Aaron Judge, and now you got this cat. But I think when it comes down to matchups, I mean, obviously the Yankees probably match up better offensively, but nothing beats pitching, and we got some pretty good guys that are going to go out there and throw the ball.
Yep.
So if we get through that series, Houston plays the A's. If here comes the matchup we talked about last week, here's a possibility. This time next week we're talking about a Tampa Houston, rematch.
Oh, please.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know.
Please. That is what I'm looking for.
Listen, I know we've beat this dead horse, but if we match up against them, we're going head hunting, right?
How about head hunting, but maybe die hunting?
Kevin Cash and the Rays say no.
Well, they have to say no.
Outs are too precious in the postseason to be giving them up for.
And that's the answer that they have to give.
It is, but I kind of believe them. To me, from what I see, there's more.
If you go
heat.
up 3 games to 1,
there's more heat between the Rays and Yankees than there are between the Rays and the Astros. If you're going to see any headhunting, it's going to happen starting tomorrow night.
Those guys are all retired.
Remember,
they're all retired.
No, sir. Aroldis Chapman is not retired. He threw at I think it was Brasso just a mere 2 weeks ago. You don't remember this? They started a big brawl. Yeah. There was a big brawl. Aroldis Chapman, he was suspended several games. So this could be this would be the beanball fest I would look for. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen in this series. And I think it was Kiermaier and who's the outfielder who's been there forever for the Yankees?
Brett
Gardner, both came out this week and said, hey, we do not like these guys. It is a well-known fact that neither of us like each other.
How can you not like the Rays?
I don't see a problem with it. I think
what's not to like?
They're
Dude, when you're getting
fantastic
paid
young
millions of
team.
dollars to perform and you're getting beat by essentially a minimum wage player, that's gonna cause
Yeah.
some heartache at home. The Yankees fans, the Yankees ownership, hey, I'm paying you too much money to lose to these guys, and that causes some. I can see that causing problems.
Yeah, I agree. There's
Yeah.
a lot of you're right. The Yankees do have a lot of players that would be considered the best at their position. And MLB brought out a list this week of the 50 best players in the playoffs currently. And I think the Rays only had 2 players. It was
What?
Brandon Lau and Glasnow. That's it out of 50
Wow.
players in the playoffs right now. And I agree with it. I can't argue with that. You think about the players.
8 teams in the playoffs.
Yep.
There's 8.
Well, there's 8 left. At the time, there was more. There was whatever it was
Okay.
going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'm just saying 8 teams, and we got 2 names out of 50.
Yeah.
Mm.
But if you think
Listen,
about it right now, there's none of the position players. If you were, I don't know if that's the right way to put it. None of the position players for the Rays right now are the best at their position. Not a one up.
Well,
Right?
I think
Kevin
one of the
Kiermaier-
challenges with that is that they don't play. None of those guys play every day. Willie Adames is the only guy who plays every day. He's certainly not the best shortstop, in Major League Baseball. But I mean, not even Kiermaier plays every day anymore.
No, you're right. Margot subs in quite a bit, but he would probably be the best argument as far as he's the best defensive outfielder there is. I would think that it'd be very difficult to argue. Yeah, that's very difficult to argue against that.
I would take that argument, but his bat is what hurts him.
Correct. He's
very
inconsistent at the plate.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say how does it. My love for Kevin Kiermaier, lessens on about a daily basis. I think the guy is incredibly fun to watch play center field, but outside of that,
he's made some clutch plays this season. In the short season,
I mean, what's a guy with why does a guy with wheels like that not get 50 stolen bases a season?
Well,
Because he doesn't get on base.
You got to get on first base first.
Yeah, so I'm saying he doesn't get on base.
Right. Agreed.
Well, we've got some TV tomorrow night. I mean, not only do we have the Rays on TV tomorrow night, but now we have Monday Night Football, which is already scheduled. That's the Falcons and the Packers.
Yep.
And now we've got the COVID game. We got the Pats and the Chiefs playing
COVID game.
Dude, COVID
without Cam Newton.
COVID this week. By the way, COVID messed up my fantasy football week.
Yeah.
I was gonna. Listen. You're now, and when I'm trying to set my lineup, I think this morning because I have players with postponed games. When did they announce that they were going to play this other game on Monday night?
Like
I think they announced that yesterday.
It was either last night or this morning.
Yeah,
I think it was today.
They were debating. They knew they were going to postpone it, and it was either going to be Monday or Tuesday. And then this morning, I believe they finally broke the news and said it'll be Monday at 7.
And what does one day give you, by the way?
I think that gives them a chance to test, because I wouldn't be surprised if this game got canceled as well. They're going to go by, they're going to retest everybody and make sure everybody's still negative.
So you're thinking at this point, Cam Newton's positive, but nobody else is. But
I saw a report this morning that I guess they test all the NFL players on Sunday morning for the games that are that day. Mm-hmm. No additional players had tested positive as of this morning.
Right, but like Chief's saying, by tomorrow, someone may test positive.
Oh, somebody pops.
Yeah,
sure.
In which case, they would postpone the game. So
so this thing has the tricky thing about it. It has such a long incubation period that you can be exposed. My experience is that the guys that are exposed to it start showing symptoms about day 4. The CDC will tell you you've got between 2 and 14 days before it starts showing it, to test positive. So I don't know where those other 10 days come from, but day 4 seems to be about the sweet spot from what I've seen. And so I think they're giving us, that they're giving them the extra day, and we'll see what happens, see if anybody else pops or not.
So that means the president's on day 8 or so.
Probably, yeah. Yep. So
the president
has COVID. Does he really?
Oh, he's definitely got it.
Come
Dude,
on.
he definitely. Are you kidding me? His pride. There's no way in the world he's going to go out and tell people that he's got it now if he doesn't have it. He
Okay.
definitely. Look, dude, did you hear that? So he's upset because his chief of staff came out and made a couple of statements. One of them was that he said that the president's vitals are improving, which takeaway is that they weren't awesome. And he
Right.
said something the other day. He said that the president is now off of supplemental oxygen, which that means that his oxygen saturation was low enough that they had to give him supplemental oxygen. And the president's been putting a spin on it. Like he's a tiger. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm not feeling great, but I'm still with it. I'm still the man in charge. Nothing can hurt me.
I mean,
Well,
listen,
that's
it
certainly
doesn't
the
take a
perception,
smart
John.
man. It doesn't take a smart man to figure out that there was more going on there than meets the eye. When you're willing to take the president of the United States away from the White House and put him over in a hospital, like that's not a decision that is made lightly.
Well, I do know that there's a lot of those decisions aren't his to make. Like there's medical advisors and whatnot that, I mean, I'm sure he has the authority to call off, but they're going to say, no, you dummy, I've got a medical degree. You don't, you're going to the hospital.
And he's going to say, you're fired.
This is not the first time. This is not the first time that a president has had a medical emergency while in office. Woodrow Wilson had a stroke, and they hid it. They hid it from the American public to the point that his wife was signing legislation, for him because he couldn't do it. Eisenhower had a heart attack while in office. Think about this, 5-star general, Eisenhower. Now he comes into office, and for the first time in a long time, the Congress is actually listening. They're actually working, with the president, and it shows weakness. Now he's had a heart attack. He's not as strong as everybody, had thought he was, and they hid it. Then nobody knew about that for a long time. So I can understand, Trump not wanting, this to come out that, yeah, I've got it. But I mean, the fact is that, other world leaders have had it.
There's no way in today's age of media and social media that you could hide something like that. There's no way.
Yeah.
I can understand back then how you could hide that. But today there's no way. No way they can hide it.
They hid polio for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, that was because he didn't have to run for president on TV.
He wasn't running anywhere. Who said that?
Wow.
Parker, did you say that? Where's that kid at?
Wow.
Oh, man.
Wow. That went off the rails quickly.
It's funny because it's true.
Oh my God.
But there was a big deal when that was Woodrow Wilson, right? Woodrow Wilson was able to
as president.
Huh?
He had a rough time. He had a rough go of it, man.
Well, Pearl Harbor and all that, World War II. Yeah,
right.
So there was a big deal made out of it when he went to a baseball game and was actually filmed. Before that time, presidents had been filmed, but they were always at a podium or something else. So that's one of the reasons why they were able to hide it. Matter of fact, they had a deal with the press that anytime he was getting out of the presidential limousine or carriage or walking from office to office, press stopped. So the press knew that he was not 100% ambulatory. No, we're talking about Woodrow Wilson. He had polio as a kid and was actually wheelchair bound for the rest of his adult life. But he did still have some mobility in his legs. He couldn't play any kind of sports or anything, but he was mostly bound to a wheelchair. But the general public did not know this.
I think the world was a different place then, right?
Oh, 100%.
We were still trying to assert world dominance as a country.
Absolutely.
And,
well, that was
the American people, and the American people were probably bought into a show of strength, right?
Right. Because you did not want to show weakness.
Certainly some local people probably saw or knew that he was in a wheelchair, but there's no way that you were going to let other world leaders throughout the world know something like that. I think back then we had a little bit more sense of pride.
Yeah.
As a country than we probably show now.
This was also during the beginnings of World War II. So not only internally, but like you're saying, externally, you had to show resolution and strength against Hitler and Mussolini and the axis of evil. And you wanted to show strength for the American people. Hey, we're not weak. I'm your president. I'm making the right decisions for you. He made some absolutely awful decisions after that during Reconstruction and all that kind of stuff. But during the precipice of the World War II, he did make some fairly good decisions and showed some strength. Had the American people known that he was bound to a wheelchair, it may have made us a completely different nation at that point.
Well, I mean, he probably doesn't do well in elections. That's what I'm saying. Like he never had to run for president, with the media that you have today.
Right. And they were actually helping him to disguise that, is what I was saying. That the media, the New York Times, the Washington Post.
It's so crazy to me that they would work together like that. Like, this is legit. Yesterday, I get 2 push notifications on my cell phone at exactly the same time. In fact, it was so crazy to me, I screenshotted it. One was from CNN and one was from Fox News. And they were both reporting on President Trump's medical team that was doing a live press conference. Mm-hmm. One completely absurd, one completely downplaying it. It's the same story.
Right.
Right. And my problem with it is like, you want to know why there's division in our country? It's because 2 news outlets, or I won't even call them news outlets, 2 cable outlets like that are reporting something completely opposite of each other. It's the same story. That's why. And the average American isn't smart enough to figure it out on their own.
Right. They're pandering to an audience and hoping that, that story is.
Well, that's how bills get paid, Pooh Bear. That's how bills get paid.
I mean, it's
bills get paid because you get ratings, and you get ratings by selling controversy. That's how bills get paid.
So as a society, we need to stop subscribing to that.
We need to quit watching that crap.
I have personally. I have. So, I mean, it's not like it's, I'm contributing to the delinquency of the nation.
I mean, it's just absurd.
It is. Sorry, I'm watching the end of the Raiders and Buffalo Bills here. The Buffalo Bills were triumphant against the Vegas Raiders.
Hey,
Vegas Raiders.
Programming note here is that I believe it was FDR that had polio, not.
I think you're right.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, we've been saying Woodrow Wilson the entire time. It was FDR.
Right.
Pooh Bear didn't watch Pearl Harbor enough.
The movie with Ben Affleck.
The movie.
I've only seen it once. It was terribly not correct. It was not period correct.
Do you guys know which natural disaster I watched recently?
Will you watch the Falcons lose in the fourth quarter?
I watched the debate on Tuesday night.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
I did for about 6 minutes.
Hey, I got some problems with that debate. I got a lot of problems with that debate. Actually,
you have some.
Yeah, I got some. But I'll defer for just a moment and see what else.
No, let's hear, because I watched it for about a total of 6 minutes, and I think I was texting with you guys.
Okay,
I couldn't handle this. It was such a train wreck. I think somebody described it as a train wreck inside of a dumpster fire inside of a trailer park, and it was just.
It was embarrassing, is what it was. It was being aired by much of the world. World leaders across the planet are watching this because one of these 2 guys is going to be the president of the United States, and they want to see what they're getting into. And it was, first of all, it's a debate. This is a civilized debate, and as much as I am agreement with Trump on some of his things, his tactics in that debate are absolutely not okay. Yep. I mean, you have a time to speak and there's a time to stand there and shut up and just take it. Right. And instead he just sits there and wants to interrupt him, and then he wants to berate the guy. I mean, don't use the word smart. Yeah, that's not okay.
He's a bully.
And the other flip side to that is, if Biden can't handle Trump, how's he going to handle Putin? I mean, if you can't handle this guy, you knew that was coming. How come you weren't prepared for it? But the second thing I have a problem with,
man, the guy brought his kids into a nationally televised debate, and I'll tell you what, Biden earned a lot of points with me for looking straight into the camera and telling the world how he felt about his children.
Well, he
Okay.
does have one child that belongs in this debate. That Hunter Biden absolutely belongs in this debate.
Oh, he belongs in it, all right, but not in that.
There is no problem with bringing him in there and his corruption that has been going on that the media is ignoring. Okay, so I have no problem with that.
Okay, my second problem with this debate had to do mainly with the Trump family. Okay, there were rules that were established before the debate and that were agreed to. That's the important part here. Everybody agreed to these rules. They said, number one, everyone's going to get tested before the debate for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
They said, number two, everyone who's sitting in the gallery is going to wear a mask during the debate. Now, they had the opportunity to say, no, we don't agree with that. But they said, yeah, we agree with those rules. Number one, they didn't get tested. They didn't get tested. I don't know that they didn't have COVID on Tuesday night and knowingly bring it in there because they refused to get the test. They got in late and they said it's too late to do the test. I don't really think the test takes that long. They said it's too late to do the test. We're not going to do it. And then secondly, when they came into the gallery, they had their mask on. They sat down and took them off right away. And then they kept them off the entire time. Those were the rules that were established. And over and over again, the rules that were established were broken by everyone on the Trump side. And that's just not okay. That's not professional. That's not ethical. And as far as I'm concerned, it's just not American.
Yeah,
no,
those weren't the only rules that were broken. There was the time limit rules and the not talking over each other rule. You know, it was just a complete comedy of errors, and it's a sad comedy because it wasn't a funny comedy. It was more like a Shakespeare comedy.
It was one of those things like it's like watching a wreck. Like you can't turn it off. Like you wanted to turn it off. You knew you probably should have turned it off.
Oh, I did.
But you couldn't not turn it off.
I couldn't.
I had no problem turning it off. I said whatever the highlights are from this will come out tomorrow. Nothing's going to be solved today. This is not going to change my mind on either of these guys. I am fine waiting till tomorrow to find out what was the key points of either of them. I turned it off.
It was none.
With no regret.
Yeah. So
yeah, that thing was absolute garbage, and we got two more of them to go.
Something has to change. Somebody has to get a hold of both these guys and say, listen, I don't care what is being espoused on the other side. You better get your facts straight and be able to combat that. Here's how a debate is supposed to work. Let me give you a short example of it. Okay, I'm in debate mode. Here is my point. I feel strongly about this, whatever situation. Here are three key things that will back that feeling up. Now you tell me what you disagree with. Well, you're right. I feel strongly about that situation too. Here's 2 or 3 points that I feel strongly conflate your example and confirm my example. Now you tell me what is wrong with what I just said. And that person gets one more chance to say something about that. Then you move on to the next topic. Yeah. That's how a debate works. You debate. I say a point, you counter the point. You don't interrupt me and talk about nonsense and tell me I'm a clown or tell me I'm wrong, or that's not how it works. If you've got facts on your side, then that's great. Bring it out. Let's hear it. Let's hear your facts, your reasoning, your rationale. That's what turns people's hearts and minds to your opinion or your feelings, your beliefs.
So this next debate, okay, so they took Chris Wallace, they just drug him along for the ride. Well, this next debate is a town hall style where citizens will be asking questions, and they will alienate themselves with the voters if they do that to them. So they won't be able to just run them over. It's going to have to be along the lines of, great question. They're going to say, great question. That's an interesting point that you make. And they're going to go along, with their rant on it, whatever. But they're not going to be able to disregard the American public the way that they were able to disregard Chris Wallace.
Yep. So TSG chimes in. He's saying that they need to use Zoom so they can be muted. And actually, that was something that was kicked around later parts of the week where they were talking about some of the debate rules might need to include a mute button for the moderator to be able to use against each opponent.
Here's the thing: is let's not even use it as a defensive tactic. Let's use it as an offensive tactic. Okay, Pooh Bear, here's your 2 minutes. Your mic is on. Chief, yours is off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yours isn't even on, Chief.
Right. That's how it should work. I should be able to state my case for my feeling, my position, whatever the case is, logically, rationally, professionally, and say I am for X, Y, and Z. Here's why I'm for X, Y, and Z. Now, you tell me why X, Y, and Z won't work for the American people. Boom. Then you play it out there. You might have a good point. I might have to come back and say, you know what? Your second point, I don't think is true. I think you used a fabrication in that point. Here's the reality. Here's what I've done in the past. Here's what my plan will do or won't do. That's a debate. What we saw was two children yelling at each other because they couldn't get the last Pop-Tart.
What flavor Pop-Tart? Because if it was one of those, what?
It definitely had to have been like a cinnamon sugar.
Yes, that's my favorite Pop-Tart. I love those. The cinnamon sugar ones. Yeah.
Brown cinnamon sugar.
Throw out those Pop-Tarts and go with some toaster strudels.
Oh, wow.
You like toaster strudels? That's un-American. You can't like toaster strudels. Those are made
huge. They're huge.
Wrong. You're a lot, you clown. Why don't you shut up?
That was Biden's best line of the night, though.
But that is so
Hey,
unprofessional.
shush. Just shush. I mean, that does sound like my grandfather, though. Shush it. Just shush it. Remember my grandmother.
You can't tell Kim Jong-un to just shush because you're having a debate with him. Right?
No, you can't.
Oh, my goodness. Listen, people. I said it last week. I'll say it again. First, decisions are made by those who show up.
You got that right.
More importantly, you screwed it up this time around by allowing it to be these two. You have choices in 4 years. Decisions are made by those who show up.
We had this choice.
We can do better.
We had this choice 4 years ago, and there was some disagreement amongst the three of us. And I'll take your apologies now.
B-Love, what else we got?
You said you're right, wrong.
What? Wrong.
Instead of saying Pooh Bear, you're right, I'm sorry, he said, B-Love, what else do you have? I'm just waiting for that.
Okay, so enough talk about the China virus.
Yeah.
All right. So, Chief, you said you got a list of things to do.
Yeah, it's just
things to do while we're at home.
Yeah, I came across a list of things, suggestions for people to do. Yeah, it's not meant to be drinking straight, man. That's list of things for people to do, while they're, at home or spending more time at home. And I'm just wondering, how many of these things have we done, or would you be willing to try? So, number one and number two were run and walk. And I will say I've definitely been doing more running.
Is someone
maybe some walking?
Are there people after you?
It's a lot of times it's me.
Yeah, the Reaper's right behind me, man. I got to get going.
So what do you have to say for those of us who physically can't run? I mean, my legs work.
There's the walk option, maybe. I don't know. That's the number one suggestion. Run, walk.
Walking. Okay. All right. So walk. You know what? For that, the weather, at least here in Tampa, the weather is getting cooler. It's nicer out. Walking is definitely going to be happening, at least in my neighborhoods more.
Okay. How about a YouTube fitness plan?
Why?
I think that's along the lines of like Peloton, possibly even, when you do.
I did some of those Peloton ones.
And how did that work? Did you like it?
Yeah, actually, I mean, at the time, you and I weren't able to go to the gym or go to boot camp because we were quarantined when I was doing them. It was early, in March or April, but they got the job done, Yeah.
But you didn't. But no one stuck with them. That's my thing. Is that I don't get anything out of an instructor. Come on, dig in. You can really do it. But it's just a TV screen. There's nothing there to like yell back at or complain to. So
So the style that I did on the Peloton was I didn't do like Peloton bike or Peloton treadmill. They actually have a bunch of workouts, including boot camp style workouts to choose from. Those are the ones that I did. So
Okay.
it's just basically an instructor putting you through a routine like we would do with Ashley.
Okay.
And
Uh,
there may or may not be a man event short coming up in your near future related to Peloton style workouts. It's
That's
not the
breaking
next
news
one.
for me.
What? We talked about this.
The Peloton style workouts.
I think I must have been asleep for this one.
Oh my gosh! All these great ideas I share with you.
Was I doing a side plank at the time?
No, we were talking about the one we're filming this weekend. We talked about that. Oh my god!
All right, I'm gonna run through a couple of these. How about a DIY project?
Okay,
Check.
done several.
Yeah, I'm actually doing one right now.
I did them all. I'm out of them.
And by the way, if you want to see another man event short, there is a DIY project on installing a flagpole in your front yard.
Yes.
So check it out.
Check that out. Link in the description below.
I thought he was going to try to rope us into painting his house again.
I tried.
I know you did. How about this one? I thought this was interesting. Learn something. I've actually been messing around. I've been looking at the Babbel app. I haven't actually bought it yet.
Oh,
but yeah,
I did a free trial of that myself. My wife wanted to learn some more. You know, she works at a school that is predominantly Spanish speaking, and in order to relate to her students and parents, she wanted to learn more about the Spanish language. And we both downloaded the app. I did the trial for, I don't know, it was like 6 months or something like that. I haven't really gotten that far with it.
Okay.
It's about like working out. They ask you to try it, for 15 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day, whatever you can set it to. And it's just one of those things where I kind of forget about it. I did it the first couple of days, and then like the third day I was like, oh, that's right. I got the trial for that. Maybe I should go back and try it. And you do it, while you're taking care of other business. And then you forget about it the next day, and you're like, it reminds you, like, oh, I got to poop again. Maybe I should do that. All right, but I got to set my fantasy team, so I forgot about it. Anyway.
Yeah. This one I thought was interesting. How about calling a friend or a family member?
Why would I do that?
Yeah, there are people out there that, you lose contact with. You just want to reach out and say, hey, man.
No, that's actually true. There's one person in particular, Mr. Jim Zalay, I've been trying to get a hold of, and is not answering his phone, not returning any messages, and for the same reason, just want to catch up with him. Haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah. Okay, this one I think we can all do is plan a vacation, or in our case, we need to replan a vacation because our trip to Texas got canceled. Yeah.
Yeah. Ruined.
Yeah,
the next one,
I've got a belt buckle and everything.
Yes. And now the next one I had no interest in was gardening. Anybody?
Mm-mm.
We'll skip right that one. Anybody interested in a new pet?
No, absolutely not. Nope.
No pet family.
No new pet. I think this one has a lot of Americans going on it, and you can get hooked into a new TV show, which Lisa and I did, or read a book, which I didn't do.
What TV show did you get hooked into?
Man, we were we watched Game of Thrones and we really liked that. So we were looking for something that was Game of Thrones-ish. And we came across Outlander, which I got to tell you is a little weird. It involves medieval time, not medieval, just after the medieval times. I guess the 1800s, 1700s, 1700s. Yeah, it's a little time travel involved. You got to get past that. You're just locked in for the story. If you can get past that, it's actually pretty interesting. So I did Outlander.
Hey,
waiting for season 6.
Real quick before we move on, TSG says his wife has been using Babbel.
Ooh, so and como está?
What I'm interested in what language she was learning, Patrick.
Well,
I'm assuming it's probably Spanish, since that's one of the easiest, at least for an English speaker, one of the easiest ones to learn, and
also useful here.
And useful.
Me amo es be love.
See.
¿Dónde está en cuarto de baño? That's important.
Through that door.
That was important. When you don't speak the language, you better be able to get that one out. Here's one. Take some time to declutter. I've actually, worked on my garage a little bit.
That's interesting. That came up with my family this weekend. My wife proposed to me her desire to organize and declutter the garage.
Yeah.
And actually gave me carte blanche to do. So there may be a future Man Event episode wrapped up in that as well.
That sounds like you just want us to come over and help you clean out your garage.
No, that no, that part's going to happen. She essentially picked out some cabinetry that's going to cost me quite a bit of money. But
that doesn't sound like a good idea.
Next week.
Matter of fact, Matty Ho was part of the inspiration. You know, his garage. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I'm sure you do. But
oh, dude,
to me, Matty Ho's garage is the garage. Right? Okay. So I'm judging by both your reactions that you feel the same way I do.
Yes.
Oh, he's got a great garage.
I kind of hate him a little bit for it.
That's where I'm at. So I asked him yesterday to take some pictures of his garage so I could show them to my wife and show her what is in my mind of this would be the ideal garage. And he's like, oh, I'm just out here shoveling some poop at the horse barn. I'll get around to taking some pictures for you in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, you continue to shovel poop. You let me know when you get those pictures.
All right, guys, I got 2 left and I'm done.
Hit it.
Batch cooking or trying new recipes?
Yeah, we've done some of that.
Yeah.
Mostly my daughter. She's just been really enthused about cooking and baking lately. So
well, she made us some pumpkin bread that was actually really good.
She did, yeah. And some banana pudding.
Solid.
Yeah, and the banana pudding. Yeah. It was legit.
So just
it's easy. Elio Manano, I don't know what she said there. She's Spanish. Okay. Final. And this one is one I just did on Friday. You know, we checked out a new local park, or not a new park, but a local park.
Hold on. Elio Manio Evento. It means the man event. Come on, man.
Hello.
Oh, come on, man. You're over there. I don't know what that means.
Well, I can barely see it. You know, it's down in the little print off to the corner of my screen. I don't get to blow it up like you do. Okay, so last one I have is try a local park.
No, did not do that.
No?
I've been to them all.
What park did you go to?
I've worked at them all. I didn't need to go to any.
So we finally got the boat back from the repair guy and went over to Winter Haven. There's a chain of lakes over there. One of them, they're connected by canals, and then one of them drops you off into the lake where Cypress Gardens used to be, now Legoland. Remember the water ski show they would do there? Well, they still do it. It's a pirate show now, but there's nothing going on now. So we took the boat. It's a big lake. We took the boat over there, and my son and wife both like to water ski, so we went water skiing and actually, ran by the Cypress Garden Theater there and took some pictures of them water skiing. And Lisa's one-handed. Hey, like the old commercials for Cypress Gardens. So it was fun.
Nice.
Did you see the pool that is shaped like the state of Florida?
No, I didn't see a pool shaped like the state of Florida. Where's that at?
It's there on the ground. So we used to have season passes to Legoland with my younger children. So we'd go all the time. We've seen that pirate show. I think they have it a couple times a day. The night one is really spectacular. They had fireworks and stuff. Anyway, if you do some walking towards the back of the park where they now have a water park, there is a pool you come across, and it's just kind of like a wading pool. It's not like a swimming pool or anything. It's just a foot deep or so. And you're like, well, this is rather interesting. Well, one day I was looking at it on Google Earth, and it's actually shaped the state of Florida. It's the full cutout of the state of Florida sitting there.
Oh, but it's so large you wouldn't be able to tell that that's what it is when you're standing on it? Okay.
Yes, it's crazy. But yeah, it's there. I think it was there back from the old flower garden days and not part of.
I wonder what else Pooh Bear stalks on Google Earth.
Oh, all kinds of stuff. By the way, your shed in your backyard's illegal.
I don't have a shed. I think my neighbor might.
On Google Earth, there is. That's funny.
That's all I got, guys.
That's it, huh?
Yeah.
That's it. Those are the ideas.
Number 11 must have been start a YouTube channel.
We can put that up there with
maybe a hobby.
Either learn something or YouTube fitness. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, in all seriousness, we started this YouTube channel during COVID, right?
Yeah,
sure did. Start of it. I've talked to probably 4 other people that I know between my work and my personal life that have started YouTube channels, or at least attempted to during this time period, just for the fact that this is a viable medium that they're want to try out, see what it works and how it goes. Some are a little trepidatious, if you will, about starting and getting things going, but it's happening, and I think that's awesome. I think it's really cool. I'm happy with the success that we've had. We've had a good time doing this. I know that's for sure.
Man, I think we're up to 109 followers.
Yeah. So we appreciate that follow, the subscription. That's the thing that keeps us going. Right? We want those subscriptions.
Guys, there's a pile of nachos waiting for me.
Oh, they sound dirty. That is just not
So
fair. I mean, I'm still full from lunch. I'm still full from lunch. But yeah, like we were just talking about, subscribing to our channel. It's free. It's easy to do. It keeps us from having to do crazy things to make money in order to do this, support this platform. We've got at least 3 huge shorts planned, comedy bits that we're going to film that you're not going to want to miss. So you're going to want to tune in for those. So subscribe and hit the bell. The bell lets you know when we upload something in case you're too busy doing other things. It alerts you and says, hey, those 3 fat guys just uploaded a new video. You should go watch it. And that's right. So we hope you had a great week. We had a spectacular week. We had a championship week, hopefully
wins all around.
Crossed, the first of 3 championships coming to the city of Tampa in the next 4 months, 5 months, right? Let's go
wins
Rays.
All around.
Let's go Bucks. Wherever you do, whatever it is or wherever you are, whatever you do, try not to suck. We'll see you next week.
Out.